The nature of the human person. Saint Thomas Aquinas defined human nature as having a physical and spiritual substance because he or she has a soul and is created by a superior being with a divine purpose. The dictionaries define the human person as a self-conscious animal. So here are the characteristics of a human person. A human person is a rational being, meaning he is an individual who can reason up and he can think logically. A person is born free. He can do whatever he wants, but he needs to be responsible for whatever consequences he might have. A human person is unique. Every person is intrinsically a social being and cannot detach himself or herself from other creatures in the universe. All living things are sexual in nature. God created man and woman in his own image. God entrusted man to become a good steward. God designated man to exercise dominion over other creatures. God gave man gifts and talents of thinking, loving, longing for happiness, and making decisions. Now, here are the philosophical views about human nature. According to Protagoras, a human person is the measure of all things that exist and do not exist. Plato claimed that perfect human being does not exist in this world. Parmenides said that a person has a knowledge of something that exists, for a person who does not exist is nothing. According to the view of conservatism, all human persons may not be equal value to society. Some men are intended to rule, the rest to obey. The liberalism point of view believes that all men are capable of reason and rational action and have the capacity to live satisfactory and productive lives if given the opportunity. Socialism, the human being readily engages in cooperative social activities when given the opportunity. According to Fascism, human nature holds that what matters most is the country itself. The human being can prosper only when the nature prospers. Here are the classical Greek views about the human nature. The early classical Greeks defined the human person as a rational animal. Sociological views define it as human persons are social animals. The human person's social behavior is learned, not instinctive. To understand the human person's social behavior, we have to focus our attention on the groups of which people belong. Sociology is a discipline that looks into the totality of relationships in the individual life. If you can still remember the hierarchy of needs by Maslow, he presented the level of hierarchy of needs. At the bottom part of his hierarchy is the physiological needs, which includes the biological and basic needs such as water and clothing. Next is safety and needs. It includes security and protection from physical and emotional harm. Next is the social needs, which includes affection, sense of belonging, and friendship, which people seek to overcome feelings of loneliness and alienation. The last is the self-esteem, needs to include achievement, mastery, and confidence derived from recognition, respect, and attention. It is basically difficult to understand the human person. He is described as having physical, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual attributes capable of knowing, loving, and believing. Various biblical, philosophical, classical, and social views and perspective other essential insights into the human nature. Nevertheless, it boils down to the human person's relational character toward others called service to his or her fellow men. A person is a social being with various needs that have to be satisfied. This will enable him or her to reach the peak of her potential so that he could effectively relate with others and be productive part of his community.